Hi friends, Naji here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. We are continuing a discussion on n8n use cases, and in this video we'll be discussing on an interesting and latest use case, that is the invoice processor. So let's explore more about this particular use case. So here I have a list of images are there, okay, or invoices are there, right? So you guys can see different invoices, okay. I need to map these invoices, or I need to extract information from these invoices, and I need to update my Google Sheet with these details. So if you look on this Google Sheet, you guys can see there's a date is there, category is there, amount is there, and the file name is there. And I think these things are self-explanatory, and let me explain about the category. So in my case, there are two type of categories there. One is the petrol bills or petrol invoices, and other is the food invoices. So I need to make like the category based on that. So if it is a petrol, the category is petrol, and if it is a food, and the category is the food. Okay, so that is what I mean by this category. Okay. So that is about this Excel sheet, and the use cases I need to read from this Google Drive, and I need to update to this Google Sheet. Okay. And for that, we need to have an option to convert these images to text, right? For that, there are different options are there. So you guys can use LLM with that is capable of reading the images, that can be used, but that is kind of a costly. Or you guys can use maybe any services, like any cloud services like AWS, Azure, and GCP can be used. These all things will convert do the OCR processor, right? So in our case, what we have done, so I have created a fast API endpoint. Okay, so under the hood, this fast API uses a PyTest track, and this accept a base64 images, base64 image, and which will eventually convert into a text, and it will return a combined text conference code the text count. Okay, this will be returned from our fast API endpoint. So the goal is we will be reading images one by one, and we will be converting that into base64, and we will be triggering this endpoint, and this endpoint will return our OCR data or our text data from this endpoint. Okay. So as I said, if you use any other cloud-based OCR techniques, then the accuracy will be definitely high. So let me go to my PowerPoint. Okay. So let's see what all things that we are going to learn in this video. Okay, so we will be learning how to connect to Google Drive and how to connect to Google Sheet, and also we will be seeing a code node from the n8n. So the purpose of this code node is we can write custom code. Okay, so here we will be using this code node to create the base64 image. Convert the image to the base64. Then we will be using the HTTP request node from n8n. So the purpose is to call the fast API endpoint. Then we will be using the AI agent, and we will be make use of OpenAI model here. Okay, so these are the basic nodes that we will be understanding in this video. So let's go like one by one. So I have my workflow, n8n workflow is up and running. So just created a new workflow. Now let's trigger this workflow by manually. Okay, you guys can make it scheduled or any other method, but I'm planning to trigger it using manually. So once I have triggered this event, I need to read the images from the Google Drive. For that, I can make use of Google Drive. So let me click on the Google Drive. And what I need is I need to search the files and folders. Let's click on this. Okay. So let me create a new account here. So click on new credential. Okay. Just follow the open doc. Here, Google Cloud. Let's go to console. Let's click on here in this menu. Just create a new project. I can say n8n invoice 1. This is the project that I am going to use. Create. Okay, so I have shown this multiple times in my video, but again I'm showing this. Let's select this project. Okay, so now I have my project is ready. Now click on API and services. Okay, So which all services that we need from GCP, right? So we need two services. One is Google Drive and other is the Google Sheet. So let's enable those services. Click on API and services. First search for Google Drive. Google Drive API. Select it. Enable. Let's go back and search for Google Sheet, right? Google Sheet API, Google Sheet, enable it. Okay, so we have enabled two services. Now go back to API and services. Okay, let me see the status. Okay, so these two are enabled. Now let's create a credential for this one. Create a consent screen, get started, give a app name as test11. My email ID can be given here. Let's make it external. Next, let me give my email ID here. Next, continue, create. So it's in process. Let's see. Okay, so it is completed. Now create a auth client. So we will be using the web client here. So let me select the web client and I have to add a authorized redirect URL. So we will be getting that from this particular window, and here we can see the redirect URL. I just copied it. Let's paste it here. Paste it here. Create. Okay, so this is my client ID. So let's copy this. In between, I'm also downloading this one. I can paste the client ID, and yeah, I can use paste this one, client secret. Okay, so that part is done. Let's click auth. Let me add an audience also, because we are not publishing the app now. Let's add a user. Here I can give my email ID, gmail.com. I'm adding that. Okay, so that is successfully added. Now let's go back to our n8n workflow. Let's sign in and continue. Let me give all the permissions, continue. Now the connection is successful. So we are successfully connected to Google Drive by a couple of clicks, right? Not couple of clicks, like more than 5 or 6 clicks. Okay, anyway, like it's very easy. So we have connected this one. Now we need to search all the images, right? So let's make it everything default, but I need all the files, and I need to filter a folder, and the folder name is OCR. Okay, so this is my folder name. Then execute it. So you guys can see like all my 3 images are returned from the Google Drive. So once it is returned, we need to read it, right? To read that one, so I can also select Google Drive, download it. Okay, I'm selecting the same Google Drive account. The file download is the operation. I'm using the by ID. I'm just drag and drop this ID here. You guys can see there is a ID field is here. Just drag and drop here. Execute. Okay, so the execution is in progress. Okay, so all the files are downloaded. Okay. Now we need to read this one and convert into base64. For that, as I said, we will be using the code node. Just click on the code node. So code node, once for all items, and here we can see 2 methods. One is the JavaScript and other is the Python beta. So we will go with the JavaScript, and Python is in the beta version. Okay, so let's select this. I already have a code snippets ready for this one. So let me copy and paste it here. Okay, so this is basically read the property and it will convert to the base64. That's it. Okay, so this is the basic code, and all this code can be get by just using the ChatGPT or any other LLM. You will get the this kind of a code. You don't need to worry about that. Okay, I also created the same way. Okay, so let's see. Okay, I didn't show you the output. So this is the output. So this is the base64 which we will be getting from executing this code. So we have ready with the base64 thing. Now we need to call our REST endpoint. For that I can use HTTP request. Let's click on the HTTP request. What we need is the post method, and the endpoint is HTTP. I can use maybe 127.0.0.1. It's let me check the endpoint. So the endpoint is, you guys can see, endpoint is the extract text. Let's go back here. Extract text. Okay, so this is the endpoint, but here I am missing the port. It's 127.0.0.1.8000 is the port name. Okay, now send body, and I can say using JSON. Okay, now let's create the endpoint here. Here I can set image base64. Okay, now I can pass the base64 here. So let's copy it from here and let's paste it. Okay, let's copy this and paste it between these quotes. Now again it didn't work. Okay, sometimes it happens. Let me copy this. Put exactly here, paste it here. Okay, now we are getting the request body. Okay, why this base64, this key? Okay, because let me first execute this. It says parameter is not valid because I missed a double quotes here. Let me execute it here. Okay, it's executed successfully, and let's see the output. So you guys can see the text information. So it's a combined text. We can see here we can see the GST and the amount that we can see, the total amount, all those things that we can here. We can see it here. Okay. So I was saying like, okay, why we need this key? Why this key image underscore base64? Because in the fast API endpoint, so if you come here in the fast API endpoint, I have used this base image underscore base64 as a key. That is why I have used the same key here. Okay, so in your case it is different, just use that name. Okay, so we have done, actually the first part is completed. Okay, now what we need a AI agent. So the purpose of the AI agent is to extract these details from this combined text. So let's select an AI agent. Okay, so I need to have a define below. I need to have a prompt need to be given here. So I already made a custom prompt. So let me copy and paste it here because writing will be a little difficult. Let me expand it, paste it here. Okay, so this is my message. Okay, just read it. Extract the following information from this receipt text. Okay, so this is the receipt text. You guys can see the text here. And what all things I need to extract? I need to extract the amount. Okay, so the total amount as a number. Then I need to convert the date into a specific format, and I need to have a category. Category can be petrol or the food. So this is what I explained earlier. Okay, so that is good. Let me close this, and I need to have some system prompt also. Okay, so so for that, come here and we have a system message. Let me remove this and let's paste this. System message is also very simple. It says you are a billing assistant that extract the receipt information accurately. Always provide the complete and accurate information in the required format. If you didn't find the accurate result, just mark it as a 0. Okay, So this is the basic information, or this is the basic prompt that I have given. I have did some kind of optimization for this prompt. Okay, I think this should work. Okay, so we have our agent is there. Now let me make it little small so that we can see everything in a single way. Okay, now we have our agent is there. Now let's select a chat OpenAI chat model. I can use OpenAI chat model can be used here. So I'll be using the 4.1 mini for the time being. Okay. Okay, so this is my chat model, and what I need is I need to convert this into a specific format, right? Okay, let's come here and set is a specific output format. Okay, so this is the output format. Click on this. I need a structured output parser. Here I will be defining the JSON. Okay, so here also I have a set of prompt. A JSON structure is ready. So let me paste it here. Okay, so this is the structure that I need. I need a amount is there. The amount is number, and I have given some description. I need a date and I need a category. Okay, so this is very simple. I just used ChatGPT to create this JSON structure. Okay, I just given like what I need, and ChatGPT has created this for me. It's you don't need to by heart this kind of a structure. Just give to make use of any LLM model. So we are ready with that. So we have done the AI agent and selected the chat model and the structured output. Let's execute it and we'll see how this works. Okay, its downloading is in progress. Okay, the model output does not fit required format. What happened? To continue on error. So I may have to debug this. Let's see. Action parse text. Okay, so maybe let's have some higher version. ChatGPT-4o, maybe ChatGPT. Let's select a 4o. Now let me execute it. It says executed. Okay, so let's see. It's now it's giving expected format. Okay, sometimes when we use the small models, it is hard for the small models to give the exact structure. So that's why I changed the 4.0 mini to GPT-4o. Okay, so we have our output is ready. Okay, now we need to clean the data. Okay, before saving to Google Sheet, we have to clean the data. For that, I can use the code also. Let's use the code. So here also we will be using the JavaScript, and we'll be using the JavaScript, and I have the code is ready. Okay, so this is the code, and this just clean up to the exact way that we need. Okay, so I'm executing it. So node is executed successfully, but the result is not coming here. So let me see. Okay, so this should be connected with the AI agent. Okay, executing it. Okay. This will convert into the exact JSON format. Okay, so this is also not working. Okay, so input dot first dot JSON, table is empty, JSON is empty. Okay, I think I have to debug this little bit. Okay, so let me do a debug on this. Maybe something has changed when I change the model. Okay, I am doing some changes here. Okay, so what I am doing is that in the structured output, earlier I was giving some kind of a complex structure. Now I changed that into very simple, like amount, date, and the category. Okay, So why I am changing this, and in this video I am using the OpenAI model, right, which is kind of a little bit a clean model, which will give the result as we expected. So earlier I have given that kind of a complex structure because I was actually using another Olama model, a simple model, and that model is not understanding this particular structure. So I have to do some kind of a restructure for that particular model. Okay, so now we switch to the OpenAI. We don't need that. We can simply say this. OpenAI will able to understand. Okay, so the learning is like this kind of a prompt and this kind of a structure that may change based on your LLM. So if your LLM is strong enough, then we don't need to give more prompt. Otherwise, like you have to give more prompt, more short examples also have to be given. Okay, so here we just give this kind of a amount, this kind of a JSON structure. That is what we need. Is we need a amount, data, and the category. Okay, then we don't need the clean code, is not needed. So what we can do, we can directly go and select a Google Sheet. Okay, I can append the rows to the Google Sheet, and here I have selected the account, and if not, I have shown you earlier, right, how to select one. So please follow those guidelines. Okay, similar to the Google Drive, just select the company info. This is the Excel sheet that I'm using. So this is the company info Excel sheet, and I need the sheet 3. Okay, so let's select the sheet 3. Now we need to map everything one by one. So let me do a execution here. Before that, let's connect this. Okay, execute it. So this will execute the previous details. Okay, so this is the details that I'm getting. Now map one by one. Let's select the date. Let's select the amount and category, and I need the file name, right? So file name can be get it from here in the search files, and there I can select it. Okay, I can map it here. Name I can give here. Can't determine which item to use. File name, let me see this working or not. Okay, okay, because it has more than one files is there. Now download file, let me select this one. Let's see. Okay, I understood. Okay, so let's make it blank for now. We can correct it. Okay, so let's execute it. So the execution is now we are getting the details, and if you come here, we can see it is updating the properly. Okay, now the problem here is, so if you look on our data, we can see like two records, right? T1 and the T2 will be there, and we need to read this one by one, right? Okay, so here we can see only the one record. For that, we need to have one more node that we need to implement, that is the loop node. For that, let's loop this. Okay, so this let me disconnect it from here and loop through. First we need to read all the data. Let's delete it and connect it with this loop, and just a connection. So this loop will be connected to our Google Drive. So let's make some space here. Okay, so this will be, once this is done, this also connect with this. Okay, I think we are good now. So the problem here is we have like more than one record is there, right? So we have to read one by one, one by one, one by one. So what we will do if it is in any programming language. So in a programming language, we will use some kind of loop, right? For loop and while loop to read a list or an array, right? Here also we have to do something like that. That is why they have introduced this kind of a looping mechanism. So what this loop does is this loop will read it one by one. Okay, so one by one it will read till it is ending with the files. Okay, now let's execute it and we'll see how this works. I'm saving it and executing it. Okay, so the execution is progress and done. The first item is done, that is taking the second item. Execution is progress. Okay, now let's see. Now we can see we are getting the data. Okay, here we are getting some empty string, and here we are getting the petrol as a 105. Okay, now what we can do, let me check this. Now we need to update one more thing. Okay, for that let's select the file name from maybe from this loop item. I can connect it with the connect it to the file name. Okay, now let's execute it. So the execution is progress. Let's check this. So we can see our file is also added here. So you can see the file is properly updating. Okay, so let's do a cleanup. Okay, execute everything. Let's see how this works. Okay, so the execution is, the first file is executed properly, and it is executed the second file. That is also executed. Two files are executed. Now check the details, and here we can see the T1 and the T2. Okay, now if you look on this T2, its amount is coming is wrong. It is not 105. It is actually 1000, I believe. So let me execute it again. We'll see. Okay, so if you see, for the T2 the amount is 1000. So second time it is coming correctly, but first time this was not coming correctly. So in this way this will happen always. So what we need to do, we need to add more examples, and you have to use the strong model. So here I just use the PyTest, right? You guys can modify there also. Maybe you can use any kind of the strong OCR techniques, like maybe you guys can use AWS or GCP or Azure can be used there for the accurate result. Okay, so I believe it is very clear. So let me go explain once again. So we will have a the click is there, click trigger is there. It will read all the files from Google Drive, and we will loop it through one by one, and we will download it, and we will create a base64. The base64 will be sent to my HTTP request. Then we will have an agent. The agent will create some format that we are expecting, and that we are saving to our Google Sheet. Okay, so this is the result. So I believe it's clear. If you have any questions, please ask me in the comment box. I will try to answer that. And yeah, please do like and subscribe. Have a nice day. Bye bye. Thank you.